This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. What is happening in Austria? And what is prophesied for Austria? Well, first to remind all of us as to what has been happening within the last several weeks, Deutsche Welle wrote on May 27 that Austrian lawmakers have voted for a motion of no confidence in the government of Chancellor Sebastian Kurz. The vote was called by parties on the left and supported by Kurz's former far-right coalition partners. Now, why does this all happen? By the way, he lost, of course, and he's no longer the Chancellor. The Local wrote on May 27. The no-confidence vote comes in the wake of the so-called Ibiza-gate scandal, which saw FPÖ leader and Vice-Chancellor Heinz-Christian Strache resign from both posts after he was caught appearing to offer public contracts in return for campaign help from a fake Russian backer. That led to Kurz ending his coalition with the FPÖ and calling early elections for the autumn in September. But the opposition say the 32-year-old leader must also take responsibility for the scandal. And The Guardian added on May 27 that during a debate in which the delegates of the far-right Freedom Party, the FPÖ, resolutely refused to lend Sebastian Kurz the customary applause, right-wing populist politicians accused the center-right chancellor of trying to use the so-called Ibiza scandal to consolidate his power at the top of government. But at the same time, European elections took place and Kurz fared rather well. And so did Sebastian Strache. It said here that Strache received enough preferential votes across the country that he could be headed to the European Parliament if he were to accept the mandate. The article, The Guardian, also points out that the no-confidence vote means that Kurz, 32, will go down in Austria's history books not only as its youngest ever chancellor, but also its shortest serving, because Kurz spent only 525 days in office. Now, the German tabloid Bild has been referring to the Kurz-Sturz. Now that's a play on words. The word Sturz in German means downfall. And so in the meantime now, a new temporary Austrian leader was appointed by the president, the finance minister Hartwig Löger. And then it says, Deutsche Welle wrote this on May 28, that Austrian President Alexander von der Bellen asked ministers except Kurz to stay in office for a few days until a caretaker cabinet is chosen, pending, of course, Austria's next election, which only takes place in September. Now, what is all of that supposed to mean? Is Kurz gone forever? Is Strache gone forever? Not if you want to listen to the Washington Post, dated May 27, saying this. The Conservatives' exile from the nation's most powerful office may be temporary. He already had announced elections slated for September, and polls show that his party holds a commanding lead. In European parliamentary elections on Sunday, his People's Party won a resounding victory, suggesting voters don't hold him responsible for the controversy that befell the Freedom Party. And so the conclusion might very well be that we haven't heard the last word yet about both Kurz and Strache. Now, who was actually behind this Strache video which showed him in these unpleasant and unflattering communications with that fake person, where he said all kinds of things, apparently under alcoholic influence? Ynet wrote on May 27 that according to a German intelligence officer, the Israeli intelligence service Mossad was behind the leak of this damning video. Rudolf Adam, former diplomat and deputy director of Germany's Secret Service, published an article in the German monthly Cicero claiming Israel has an interest in promoting policies friendly to it, and the growth of a radically right party poses a threat to European Jewish communities. It's unlikely that a European country is behind this campaign. American intelligence agencies are occupied with Korea, Iran, and China. The policies of President Donald Trump actually support the right-wing stance of the former Austrian Vice-Chancellor, Strache. The Russians had a good relationship with Strache. Regarding China and the Arab states, they have no reason to get involved in Austrian politics. After eliminating all other options, Rudolph concludes that the only country which has the manpower and the technological capacity and capability to carry out such a campaign, as well as a clear motive, is Israel. And so then, of course, the article points out that the European Jews are very afraid of the growing anti-Semitism in Europe. And so this is something which Strache himself has suggested, according to The Guardian, dated May 27. He said that he has called the video a honey trap stage managed by intelligence agencies. Now, if in fact Israel was behind it, then that's going to be very bad for the relationship between Austria and Israel. Now, what does all of that mean? We have been telling you for many, many years that in these last days, a final revival of the ancient Roman Empire is going to happen in Europe. And we also have made it very clear that the ultimate charismatic, political, and military leader of that revived European empire, called the Beast in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, for instance, is going to be a man of German or Austrian descent. Now, there are several candidates floating around, more in Austria at this point than in Germany, and we have to just wait and see what is going to occur. But we know that both Germany and Austria will be amongst the core nations of this final revival of the European Empire. These 10 nations or groups of nations referred to in the book of Daniel, referred to in the book of Revelation. And so this final beast, this final leader, could very well be a German or an Austrian. If you go back to the history of the European revivals, you will find that many times Austrians had an important role to play in those. Our free booklet, The 10 European Revivals of the Ancient Roman Empire, goes into the history, shows you all these revivals, and talks about the present and the future in light of biblical prophecy. We just have to wait and to see as to what is going to happen. But we know that this charismatic political leader is going to have tremendous impact. Obviously, it looks like that he has received a deadly wound, a political defeat. But then he will come back, and people will be surprised that he is coming back. Didn't expect him to come back. We'll have to see how this all develops. And so it's very interesting in the light of biblical prophecy as to what is happening right now in Austria and also in Germany. Angela Merkel is becoming less and less popular over there, but there is apparently no candidate at this point visible to the human eyes who could replace her and perhaps fulfill the role of that beast. So we have to wait and we have to see. In the meantime, please do yourself a favor and ask for this free booklet and the 10 European revivals of the ancient Roman Empire, and it will open your eyes insofar as what has already happened and what is going to happen in the very, very near future. Thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Lenk for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.